you need to try.
I've been sad a little too long, about time that I sing me.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hustle Heroes, where we interview entrepreneurs about their passion projects. Today, we have a special guest with me. Can you please state your name and your age?
Hi, I'm Amaya Gray, and I am 22 years old.
And Amaya, what is the name of your business and what field is it in?
The name of it is Godly Intentions Ministries, and I guess it's a ministry. I guess that's the field you can say it is. It's Christian based, God based, faith based.
Okay, and what year did you start your business and what made you start your business?
I started it in 2017, the summer before my senior year. And what made me start it is my junior year was the hardest year I've ever been through in terms of depression and anxiety, which I've been struggling with since I was a little girl. And I really wanted to get advice from people who lived a similar life as me, who experienced the world similar to me, which was Black Christian women. And so I gathered women of different ages and backgrounds who I knew all believed in God, who I knew had similar experiences to me in terms of race, and in terms of being a woman, and kind of wanted that specific perspective on some of the things I was going through. And then from there, a lot of the people who came said this is something I should keep doing. This is a space that's important. And that's rare that Christian Black women have something specifically for them. And lots of times you have to separate one part of yourself in one space. So at church, the focus might be that you're a Christian and maybe your church isn't talking about the racial issues going on. And then you might be a part of a Black group at school or a group that's focused on racial issues, but it's not really a space where you can bring up God or different gender issues. And you might be in a women's empowerment group, but there's not space to talk about those other things as well. So I wanted to create a space where all those things matter and come up, and all those perspectives are welcome when we're having conversations, when we're having events and stuff like that.
Okay, great. And how did you vision your business to help others and what did you want to accomplish with it?
Mm, It's kind of changed over the years, especially each year I try to really get more God focused and having God lead it instead of my ideas and what I think is good. Because I might have good ideas and I might even have ideas that work, but if it's not what God wants me to do, then it's like, how do I explain? It's like it might gain me followers, it might gain me recognition, it might seem cool, but it won't help build God's kingdom and won't give his name glory if it's not what he wants to do with it. Um, and so the vision and the way I've wanted to help people have changed. Like recently, we've become a ministry that is now for all people, and we're going to have things for all ages. Where at first we were strictly focused on Black women, and then it was Black women of a certain age. Um, and then we would welcome men into certain conversations and prayer calls. And now God has led us where we're going to certain things are still going to be focused on women. Certain things are still going to have that safe space where Black women can talk about their issues. But we're also going to be talking about men's mental health now and having prayer calls where all people and all ages are welcome. I try not to focus so much on what I envision and what I want and listening to what God wants me to do with it.
Nice. So, during this whole conversation, you talked about how faith has, been a centerpiece in your ministry. How would you say your beliefs have really helped you with your business? I know you kind of explained it and been talking about it, but can you elaborate more on how it's helped you with
Yeah.
your?
Yeah. Well, I would say the biggest thing obviously is my business is kind of based in my faith, and so it wouldn't exist if I didn't have the beliefs I had. But also, like, when things get hard, when I'm like, I don't know if I can do this anymore, when I'm not sure if there's a purpose, just remembering why I'm doing that and having the ability to go back to him and being like, hey, this is yours. Like, you just gave it to me to run on earth, but this is ultimately yours. And all I can do is do what you told me to do and give the rest to you. So I can't get overly stressed because only this many people came to an event, only this post got this many likes, or assuming stuff isn't having an impact because there'll be times someone will randomly DM our page or DM me personally and tell me how our page or our events have helped them. And they might not be following me though, or they might not be liking the post, even though they're saying it's helpful. And so, like, I think if this was just based off of me alone and my own willpower, it probably wouldn't be here this many years later. I probably still wouldn't be typing up year plans and scheduling prayer calls and stuff. Um, and I just really am. Each year, I trust God with it more, and I try to be more aware that this is His, and I'm just just chose me to run this specific ministry here on earth.
So you had talked about how some people have stated to you that your ministry has helped them. Do you feel like your business has helped a lot of people along the way, along this journey?
It's always hard to answer that because, like, sometimes it feels almost cocky to say, like, yeah, I know I've helped a lot of people, but like, I have the messages and the emails of people saying, like, hey, that prayer call was helpful. Hey, mental health matters was helpful. Hey, because of this post, I'm reading my Bible again. And so, God has provided me, and those messages lots of times come when I'm unsure if what I'm doing is being helpful, if it's being impactful. If I'm like, should I keep posting scriptures every Sunday because they only get 3 likes? Or should I keep posting video clips of gospel music because they don't get as much likes? When I post a Drake song on my story, like, is this doing anything? And so, and also just not making the credit about me. And I think that's why it's hard for me sometimes to say, like, it's helpful because, like, I don't want to say, oh, I'm so helpful to so many. And not that there's something wrong with that, but it's like the reason I'm able to be helpful is because I'm allowing God to use me and listening to the things He's telling me to do. And so, kind of redirecting the credit to Him and knowing that it's not all of me. So, I do think I can say that I've been helping people, especially when we're consistent on social media and with prayer calls. Um, I do think we're making a positive impact, especially in young women, like in their 20s and stuff. I definitely believe we're making an impact on that group of women in our area.
Um, During the days where you see that you don't have many likes on your social medias or you're not getting as much participation, how do you push through and know that this is still something God has directed you to do?
I think one thing that's important to remember is that social media is still relatively new. And so the first people God called, they couldn't question it because, oh, my Instagram post only got this much. Like, I feel like it's kind of a new thing to define your success, define your purpose based off the interaction of being on social media when that's just a small piece of it. When lots of times that's just to help get it out there, help get it known, and not every purpose needs social media likes. And for what I'm doing, social media is kind of just a tool to let people know, like, hey, this is available. But that's not really like the grunt of it. That's not the prayer calls. That's not the events. That's not the um, individual prayer and mentoring. That's not the main thing that's important. And so, not making how many, because you can get 100,000 likes on a post and not be making a real impact on a real person. They might think your page is aesthetic. They might like to look at it. They might enjoy your day in the life videos, but you're not really changing anything. You're not, and that's not to come for anybody. I'm not like, but that just because you're doing well on social media doesn't mean the purpose is being fulfilled. Doesn't mean you're drawing people close to God. And so, kind of trying to focus on the fact that, like, hey, that post might have got 5 likes, but I know, especially with my page, it's like there's a good chance those 5 people actually felt something or impacted by it. Lots of times my interactions do kind of match the impact it's having. I don't really always have to question like, oh, these are just likes because my page is aesthetic or whatever. So focusing more on the impact versus the perspective social media gives.
Definitely, definitely. And um, topic capitalizing off of that, have you been through any challenging moments with your business as far as people physically being there at events or anything of that nature? Have you been through challenging times?
Oh man, yes I have. Um, I struggle with like people like I might have a certain amount of people register for the event, but a lot less show up. Or I'll have people not really register, so I prepare for this small group, and all these extra people show up. And so now I'm like, my event doesn't look as put together because maybe I don't have enough gift bags. Like I try to give a gift bag at every event. Maybe I don't have enough food. And again, like trying to focus on like, hey, even if there's only 5 people here, like what are you doing to make sure those 5 people leave slightly better than they came? Leaving with information maybe they didn't have, or a connection maybe they didn't have. Something that a lot of our events have done for people is bring them new connections, new sisterhoods, new people they can lean on and support. So even if they're not always staying connected with us, I still know like, hey, these 2 people are now sisters in Christ who pray for each other, who uplift each other. And so that's really cool. And that's a huge part of what we're trying to do is make community and make connection. And so like again, not focusing on the numbers, especially because not all of us are called to the thousands and called to the some of us might be called to really deeply impact 5 people. Like, and that's okay. That's just as important as the Sarah Jakes Roberts who might be impacting thousands of people. And not all of us can handle what comes with that as much as we think. Like, it sounds nice to say, oh, my ministry events have hundreds of people, and oh, I have this many people reaching out for mentorship, but can you really handle the weight of that? Can you handle knowing thousands of people are looking to you for inspiration, for are you living a life where you should be handling that many people? Because if I'm being honest, I'm not at a point where that many people need to be looking at me. There's still things I need to work on for myself before I add that responsibility of having a mass of people looking at me and using me as an example. And so I think trusting that I'm at where I'm supposed to be, and if God says, hey, I'm going to call you to the hundreds, to the thousands, to the millions, trusting Him with that, but letting Him lead that progress and letting Him determine when I'm ready for those numbers and for that impact. And also being okay if He says, hey, like, I'm just going to have you always focus on your city. I'm always going to have you focus on a small group of people. And that's okay too.
Is it hard balancing your business and your life duties, your daily day-to-day life?
Yeah, it definitely can be because lots of times I find myself overly focusing on one. So if I'm really deep into godly intentions, I'm probably not talking to my friends as much. I'm probably not resting as much as I need to. I'm not checking in with my boyfriend how I probably should. But then if I'm doing those things, then I'm probably not planning events and scheduling prayer calls and reaching out to guests to collaborate on different things. And so I'm still learning how to balance that. And um, going into the new year, I really do plan on making a schedule. And God has kind of given me a schedule to follow. So, like, sticking to that and seeing how that impacts my life and making that time. And, like, knowing I don't have to be so, like, okay, relationship right now. Okay, friendships right now. It's like, with God, you can balance things. And there might be seasons where he says, yeah, I want you to mainly focus on this right now. But going back to kind of what I've been saying, the theme of what I've been saying, um, just like letting God lead those things in your life and not making it because it's stressful when you're trying to dictate stuff like that. And trying to figure certain stuff out on your own. That's why God is there. That's why prayer is there, so we can communicate with Him and let Him know. That's why it says, "Cast your cares onto Him." Um, for He cares for you. So it's like utilize that. He's there for a reason, beyond conviction, beyond the word. Like He's a living God right now, right today, that you can go to for help, that you can go to for guidance, that you can trust with your life and your decisions. So
Where do you see your business in the next couple of years?
I think in the next couple of years, so I'm in Michigan, and I started it in Ann Arbor, Michigan, Ypsilanti, Michigan, and I recently moved to a different city. And so I think in the next couple of years, like in some way, shape, and form, like we're gonna be in more than one location. Like God is gonna see fit for, okay, we can have I do something every year called Mental Health Matters, and so like I believe in the next couple of years, like there might be three mental health matters happening in one time in different locations, um, because obviously I can't be everywhere at once, and even if it's, hey, like for the whole month of May, we're doing mental health matters, and I travel each week, whatever it is. But that's something that has been on my heart, that like we're not going to be in one city based off where I'm living anymore. So that's like the main thing I've been feeling recently. Um, some general things that will have us more set programs. I'm working on those things now. Um, things for different age groups and um, gender groups, stuff like that, speaking on different topics. Um, but yeah, like other than that, kind of just like trying to focus on like, hey God, wherever you take me, I don't want to put too much of my thoughts, my opinions on it, and build up a dream that God doesn't have for me when it comes to this. So
But do you feel like it is hard to keep the moral structure of your business, since it is a faith-based business, when the world sees opposite, or when uh, other business that other businesses or people that are not faith-based are going a different direction? Do you often feel yourself wanting to go certain directions? How has that challenge been for you?
I think I kind of have it easy in the sense of like it's faith based. Like there is stuff like I could just name it something else and maybe just be a nonprofit that offers certain, like I could talk about mental health without adding God into it. I could maybe instead of having a prayer line have an encouragement line. I don't know. Like, but for me, what I do specifically, like I went into it with like this is a Christian based thing, and so I can't see it going another way. But sometimes I do wonder, like, okay, but maybe I should not even start a worldly business, but it's like, okay, maybe I should like sell purses or something. Because even if I attach God to it, I'm like, okay, that's still a product. Like, it's easier to like build a business and sell a product and make money. So sometimes it is hard seeing like girls, like especially black women and our age as well, like there's a lot of people making businesses like, oh, I sell purses, I sell bundles, I do lashes. And sometimes I'm like, maybe I should do something like that because like that would be easier to make money and maybe I can quit my normal job. With what I'm doing is so like there's no like easy straight path to make money. And like you really just have to do it because of your love for God and stuff. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with the wanting money. Like obviously we need money to live. Um, but when God calls you to ministry, lots of times it's not like a okay, bet I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna charge this much. Especially because with certain things, it's like that looks kind of crazy if I'm charging you to get on my prayer call. Like, what am I doing? Like Jesus didn't even charge, and who am I? Just like yeah, $5 to get on here every 10 minutes or whatever, or like so like it doesn't even make sense to charge or to sell for certain stuff that I do. So sometimes it does get hard knowing like, dang, I'm working just as hard as some of these other 20-year-old entrepreneur girls, but because of what they do, it's easier to see like a life change from it. And so my path might be a little longer than those who do lashes and sell purses. But again, you just gotta trust God. You just gotta, right now I'm working a normal job. I just gotta, it's okay. But God has shown me, especially recently, I was telling my boyfriend about this, kind of like, hey, if you get more discipline, and if you just trust me and obey me, even if he was saying to me, he was like, even if you don't give it your all, this is what your life could look like if you just gave it more than what you're doing now. If you just trusted me more than what you're doing now. And then he was like, but then imagine if you did give it your all, if you did trust me 100%, if you did obey me 100%, if you did get as disciplined as you can, like, and that really kind of was like, dang, like, although my route might not be traditional with God, like, you can do the impossible. He says, um, oh, dang, what's this name? Okay, I forgot. So, cut that out. But anyways, like with God, like anything is possible. Like, and like even your biggest and wildest dreams, that's what I'm trying to say. Like God can do above what you can think and imagine. And I remember seeing something. It's like, imagine the perfect life, everything you can want, and you'll like take time doing that. And even when you come up with that picture, God can still do so much more than that. So if you just like, you can't even really imagine your life if you fully followed me. And he's like, you look at these like vlog videos of these black girl luxury videos. That's like my little world. I love that. Hair and nails and stuff. And like that kind of was triggers that like, well, maybe I need to do nails or whatever. Like I don't even care about doing nails, but I'm like, I can learn to do nails. Like y'all making $2,000 a day. Like I can learn to do some nails. And he's like, you be watching that and stuff, and they have that without me. Now imagine what you can have with me, and that really hit. Cause I'm like, they really make it seem, because all of them probably don't really live like that, but they make it seem like they have these amazing lives. And I go to Mexico once a month, and I get my $2,000 hairstyle done every week. And he's like, that's not nothing. And then he's like, it's deeper than that. Like the peace I can give you, the joy I can give you, the natural energy I can give you, the how bright and vivid your life can feel like. And yes, it comes with suffering, because sometimes we can, for new Christians, they'd be like, hey, y'all didn't tell me about this part and stuff. I'm going through fire and demons is attacking me. I'm getting woken up at 3 a.m. So that comes with it too. So I want to be like, legit. And I've been through some of that. But also, it's like, without God, that stuff is so much darker, and even the good stuff isn't as good as it can get with Him. So it's like, even the suffering is worth the blessings. And sometimes there's blessings in the suffering, because blessings aren't always the new car and the like brand name stuff. Like sometimes the blessings are like, hey, I'm wiser than I was because of the suffering I went through. Hey, I'm more forgiving, I'm more caring, I give more grace to people, I'm more patient, I'm more loving because I went through this hard season. And so like not always looking for the, oh, but God got me the new house and I got a husband, and like it's not always about those things, because low key those are things of not of the world, but the world wants those things too. Christians, we should want and desire more than just a nice house and a nice car, especially because every couple years what's considered a nice house, nice car, nice hair changes. So it's like you stressing yourself out trying to keep up with it. Like Teslas might be hoopties in a few years for all we know. They might have car. We might actually have flying cars one day, and ain't nobody who care about Teslas. So it's like God provides a different type of joy and peace and happiness that's outside of what we think is those things. So I know I kind of went on like a little sermon tangent, but I don't know. Maybe somebody need to hear that since. Mm.
Yeah, no, that was perfect. That was perfect, and a perfect way to end this. Thank you so much, Amaya, for your
No.
insight to us about godly intentions. Can you give us a quick again on your where can we find you on social media? Um, connections, everything.
So you can find Godly Intentions on all social media at Godly INRL. Again, that's Godly INRL on all social medias. And you can find me on all important social medias at it's Amaya Gray, AMAYAGRAY. I don't got Twitter or nothing, but Instagram, TikTok, it's Amaya Gray.
Great. Thank you so much, Maya. I appreciate you. And thank you guys so much for watching and listening. This is Hustle Heroes. I'm your girl Jaden, and we'll catch you guys later.